In this video, I'm going to talk a little bit more on how to use the sketch tool. Like I mentioned in my previous blog post, instead of drawing a square or a rectangle the hard way, you can use the rectangle tool. If I click on this drop down, you can see there's a variety of ways to build a rectangle. I'm going to use the corner rectangle and start at the origin, draw out. You can see I'm drawing a four-sided shape with four 90-degree angles. And what I'm going to do is use the Smart Dimension tool to dimension the base. Let's say 4, and then dimension the height. Now we have a rectangle that's fully defined using just 2 dimensions. Some other tools are the circle tool. It also has a drop down. I'm going to use the center circle. I'm going to click somewhere in my shape and draw outwards. You can see that it's showing the dimension for the radius. This is an unofficial dimension and it doesn't define the shape. So let's see, it's about 0.62, and what I'm going to do is use the Smart Dimension tool to give it a diameter. So this is the diameter, it's twice the radius, and maybe it'll be 1 1/4. It's almost 1 1/4, so alright, there we go. And the reason this is not defined is because it needs an anchor point, and right now it can move wherever in between this, inside the shape. So what I'm going to do to give this somewhere an anchor point is I'm going to dimension from this side to the center of the circle and call that dimension 1.5. Then dimension from the bottom of the rectangle to the center of the circle, and maybe make that 2.75. Alright, you see the circle's turned black. It's no longer going to move around within this shape, so it's fixed to where it's at. There's also other tools. There's a ellipse tool, which is an interesting tool. First you would draw the center, or place the center of your ellipse, and then draw outwards to get the horizontal radius, and then you can draw upwards to get the vertical radius. And you can dimension this just the same as you dimension a circle. There's also a polygon tool. It allows you to draw multi-sided polygons, and which is much easier than having to do this the hard way. Believe me. Okay, so we have a basic sketch here, and the next thing I'm going to show you is how to use the features to make this into a three-dimensional shape. So we're going to go to Features, and a very commonly used feature is the Extrude boss or base. So I'm going to click that. Then already Solidworks knows the profile that I'm most likely going to extrude, and that's this inside of this rectangle, excluding the circle. So over here on the left menu, you can set the distance to which you'd like to extrude, and you'll get a preview over here in the viewing screen. So maybe we'll do 1 inch. So this is a 1 inch extrude, and you can see that it's extruding in the direction of this arrow, but of course you can change that. There's this drop down menu here, so you can select up to a vertex. You can set a vertex up to a surface if you already have a pre-existing surface. And then another one is a commonly used one is the midplane, which will extrude equally from both sides. This is a pretty smart one to use a lot of times. So let's choose the midplane, and for this, because we're just experimenting, and I'm going to press OK. Now we have a three-dimensional shape. Now you know how to use a few more sketch tools and dimensioning tools, and also how to extrude your shape into a three-dimensional part.